Hi there, friend. Welcome to the Driven Introvert podcast, the podcast for quiet doers, big dreamers, and thoughtful builders navigating life, work, and calling with faith and intention. I think I'm trying out a new intro for the show. Do you like it? Well, today we're digging into a topic that might make you pause a little bit because we all say we want to grow, right? You've probably told yourself recently, I want to grow in my career, or maybe in my spiritual life, or maybe in my financial life. Like I just want to grow, or maybe in my health, But what if you're not actually ready to grow? Let's explore what that means. I want to share 3 signs that might be showing up in your life quietly and consistently and getting in the way of your growth. And here's the thing, none of this is meant to shame or discourage you. It is to bring awareness, self-awareness, and we're going to talk about that. Because once you see it, you can do something about it. Let's get into it. You're listening to the Driven Introvert podcast, the place to be for dreamers, doers, and entrepreneurs who are ready to birth the dreams, callings, and ideas the Lord has placed in their hearts. Do you sense that God is calling you to step out and do something new, but you're held back by fear and uncertainty? Do you struggle with believing that you can do great things because of your quiet, reserved, and introverted nature? Welcome here. I'm Remy Roy, your host and founder of shepact.com. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a creative, and a committed trier. I'm here to help you get unstuck and make progress on your God idea. Let's go. All right, so you want to grow, right? I want to grow. But are you ready to grow? Does your action match your talk? Are you actually doing the thing that you say you want to do? Because sometimes, if we're honest with ourselves, we're not. Let's talk about 3 signs you're not actually ready to grow. All right. Sign number 1 is you are not self-aware. Let's start with self-awareness. This might sound like a buzzword or something people say just to sound deep, right? But it's one of those very powerful tools for personal growth. Without it, you're like a driver with no map, and you have no idea how fast or slow you're going. You're moving, but you're directionless. Self-awareness is the ability to actually observe your own thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and your motives, actually, and understand how they affect you as a person and those around you. It's pausing to ask, why am I reacting this way? Like when you do something, but you don't just want to move on from that moment, and you ask yourself, why did I react that way? Or why do I avoid this person or this task? To be honest with you, for the past 2 days, I've been avoiding recording this podcast. And I had to really ask myself, why am I doing that? I sat down to record and I found myself doing other things that felt easier at that time. That's self-awareness. Or you can ask yourself, why do I keep setting this goal but never follow through? Or what emotion is driving me right now? Is it pride? Is it fear? Is it insecurity? That's self-awareness. You're asking yourself those very important questions, and it's like self-scrutiny, so to speak, because you want answers, and those answers will help you grow and become a better person. So if you never slow down to ask why, you will keep doing the same things and expecting different results. That's not growth, that's stagnation. Let me be honest with you, right? I know what it's like to go through the motions in life. Checking off boxes, talking the talk, but not really moving forward. Like being seen as, oh yeah, she's doing this or that, but I'm not really moving forward. And for a long time, I didn't know why. But once I started to ask myself better questions, I realized that I wasn't being honest with myself about what I really wanted. And also sometimes what I feared about the process of going after the things I wanted and what I needed to let go of to actually get there. So here's an example. So if you say, I want to grow in my career, but every time there's an opportunity to stretch yourself, you feel dread or anxiety and you opt out. That's a sign for you to pause and ask yourself, why does this feel threatening? Maybe you say you want to grow in your career and you want to become a manager, a director, or you want to change careers, right? You want to do maybe a very hard pivot or something. But you don't do the thing that will actually get you there. So when they say, oh, there's this opportunity, or you can take this class, or you can do this mentorship thing, you find yourself pausing, you find yourself drawing back and not taking that step. You need to ask yourself, why does it feel threatening to you? Are you afraid to fail? Right? So in asking yourself, am I afraid to fail? Am I more comfortable dreaming than actually doing? Because we can get in that space where we've been dreaming about things for so long, and we find ourselves just comfortable dreaming, talking about the things we want to do someday, but never getting there. That pause, that moment of reflection, that's the birthplace of growth. So try this. I want you to try this today. Journal your thoughts for 1 week. Start today. Journal your thoughts for 1 week. Track your emotions at work, at home, in your relationships. What patterns do you see that are showing up? That's self-awareness in action. You can pick just one area of your life so it's not too overwhelming. If it's your career that's really on the forefront of your mind right now and it's bothering you, take this week to think about your career and write down your emotions. When you think about getting up and going to work, what do you feel? Why do you feel that way? What can you do to change that feeling, to fix something, to go in a different direction? Maybe you think about the people at work, and somehow you get this knot in your stomach and it's uncomfortable. Why do you feel that way? About who in particular? And what can you do about that? That's self-awareness. That is self-awareness in action. And that's the first step to readiness to grow. All right. So number 1 is being self-aware. And if you're not self-aware, that's one sign you're not really ready to grow. All right. Number 2, you are not open to criticism, even the kind that's meant to help you. Even if it's constructive, you're not open to it. Let's be real. Criticism is hard to take, even when it's delivered with love from whoever it is that's talking to us. I used to think I was very open-minded, right? But the truth is, I wanted people to support my ideas, not question them. And anytime they didn't do that, it felt like an attack. What I've come to understand is criticism, especially from people you know and care about, is often the thing that sharpens you because it gives you a different perspective. Now, this doesn't mean you take everything in. We're not here to entertain strangers on the internet who have nothing kind to say, right? But when someone in your life, someone you trust, someone you love, right? Someone who's been there for you and you've also been there for them, there's that mutual, relationship. Your spouse, your mentor, your manager, maybe your trusted friend gives feedback and your instinct is to shut down or push back. You've got to ask yourself why. I had to practice this, right? And I asked myself, okay, this is hard to hear, but what can I learn from it? Or maybe, why does this bother me so much? And the kicker, the one that really gets me is, what if they're right? Right? What if the criticism is actually right? The best version of you will not emerge in a vacuum. It will be refined in the fire of feedback from people around you. And yes, it can sting, especially when it pokes at your identity. When it feels like somebody's saying something that sounds like you're not good enough, or you're not ready for this, or this is not meant for you, right? But please do not confuse your work with your worth. You can be excellent, gifted, passionate, and still have room to grow. We all have room to grow. And the people who love you enough to say, hey, you could do this better, that is gold. It's a gift. Lean in, even if your feelings are screaming, run away, right? And this happens to me a lot, and I've grown through it. I know that I have. I still have a long way to go, but I've grown, right? When people, especially my husband, when we're talking about something, maybe one of my ideas is usually the thing. And because he's the kind of person that's very logical and analytical and will come at an issue from different angles and poke holes at it, not to be malicious or anything, but just to make sure you're looking at every angle. And that used to rub me the wrong way, because to me, it just felt like you don't believe me, not the idea. You don't believe me. You don't believe I can do this. You don't believe I have this. So I had to grow out of that mindset to see that, hey, the idea is not me. The work is not me. The business is not me. Right? It's an idea. It's a separate thing. And we can look at it objectively and figure out what works, what doesn't, to make it better. So here's a growth tip for you. When you receive criticism, ask yourself, number 1, is this true? And it won't be easy to know if it's true or not. You have to do some digging. You have to really think about it. But take your time. Number 2, is this helpful? So the way it's delivered, If you can sense what the criticism is actually meant to do, sometimes you can tell when it's malicious. As soon as it comes out of that person, you can tell if it's malicious. Drop it like a hot potato and just move on. Is this coming from someone who has my best interest at heart? That's another question you need to ask, right? If you perceive that it is, then take it, receive it, process it, let it stretch you, and then take the ones that is helpful and leave the ones that are not. All right? So that's number 2. If you are not open to criticism, even the one that's meant to help you, you may not be ready for growth. All right, let's move to number 3. You run away from hard things. And this one is big. You say you want to grow, but every time life hands you something that requires more effort, more faith, more discomfort, you back off. See, not every hard thing is for you. You don't have to do everything to prove that you're strong. Wisdom is knowing what to walk away from. But here's what I want you to think about. When the hard thing is directly tied to the thing you say you want, you said you wanted it. Nobody forced you to do it, and you still avoid it. That's a red flag. So you want to build a business, but every day you find reasons not to sit down and do the work. That's a problem. You say you want deeper relationships, but you never initiate, right? You never are the one to say, hey, let's hang out. Or, hey, I got this for you. Or, hey, I was thinking about you. You don't do all of those things, but still you say you want deeper relationships. I don't think you do, right? Or you say you want to grow spiritually, but you avoid prayer. You avoid journaling and being vulnerable in the place of prayer and really spending time with God. Then maybe you're not really serious about it. It's the discomfort that helps us grow. It's the challenge that makes us better. Growth is rarely convenient. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, this is it. No, it's going to take effort. It's going to be challenging. It doesn't show up on a platter fully formed as the thing that you need. No. It shows up as an opportunity wrapped in discomfort most of the time. And that's why we run away from it, because it's uncomfortable. But are you willing to do the thing that feels hard if it's your next right step? Are you willing to do that? If you're running away from something that's supposed to stretch you, then you're not ready for growth. So this is an encouragement for you. Ask God for strength to face the hard things. Ask Him for discernment to understand what is the thing I'm supposed to be doing, and then ask Him for grace to do it. Then ask yourself, if I weren't afraid, what would I do next? All right, let's recap. So how do you know you're not ready to grow? Number 1 is you're not self-aware. You don't ask yourself why. You don't pause to reflect on your patterns and your feelings and emotions and motives. You react more than you respond. Number 2, you're not open to criticism. You resist feedback even when it's supposed to be helpful for you. You assume every correction is an attack. Or maybe you prefer affirmation over refinement. And then number 3, you run away from hard things. You avoid the discomfort that growth demands. You prefer comfort zones over challenge zones. You speak your dreams, but you don't make the hard decisions to actually match up to them. If any of this resonate with you, it's okay. It's perfectly okay, right? But this is the point for you to lean into growth, right? You're becoming more aware, and that's exactly where transformation starts. So here's how you can move forward. Number 1, start a reflection practice. If you don't have a regular practice of how to just think about your thoughts, analyze your thoughts, figure out what you're feeling, what you're doing, why you're doing it, start there. Buy a simple notebook. Ask yourself one big question every day, right? Track your emotional and spiritual patterns. You can ask yourself, why do I feel stuck? What am I avoiding right now? What would growth actually look like for me? And I love this one. From where I am right now, what does growth look like? So, number 1, start a reflection practice. Number 2, welcome discomfort. When you feel resistance, lean in instead of backing away. This feels hard, but maybe it's supposed to. What can I learn here? What can I do here? What can change here? Welcome discomfort. Number 3, talk to God about it. Talk to Him about it. You can ask Him, what do you want me to grow in right now? What have I been running from that's actually for me? Give me the eyes to see and the heart to obey. So friend, are you really ready to grow? Growth isn't something we stumble into, trust me. It has to be intentional or it's not going to happen. It's something we choose over and over again. You don't have to do it all today, but you can take the next right step for you. Start small, be honest with yourself, and invite God into the process. I believe that who you are becoming is worth the discomfort of what it takes to get there. It is. And I hope you go on that journey. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If this episode stirred something in you, if it was hard to hear, I promise it's because you're becoming self-aware. I would love to hear from you. What feels hard? What you want to do next? And if you already have a reflection practice, what you've been learning from that process. Please email me at thedrivenintrovert@shepack.com. And also, you can scroll down in your app and leave a review. Your thoughts will help other people discover this show and find encouragement too. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening to this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this conversation, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast. I'd also love your feedback on this episode. You can scroll down on your app and click write a review. I'd love to read your takeaways from this conversation. As always, don't forget to take courage, trust God, and go pursue your big ideas. See you next time. The Driven Introvert is produced by shepack.com and Remy Roy. Ask a question or share a comment on a future episode? Click on the link in the show notes to record your question in a voicemail.